Hey y'all, it's Jenny. Welcome back to my garden. I was going to make this video tomorrow, but it keeps clouding up and it looks like it might rain. If it does, it may be heavy, which means that these beautiful tulips over here are going to fall away. So I thought I would go ahead and get out here and make a video. The sun is at a weird height right now, so if you see its shadow, I apologize. I'm going to try to work around that. Since I said we'd talk about issues and problems in projects, I'll just draw attention to this eyesore right here. This rock wall isn't intact around here really well, but at this end it is crumbling because the property up there, there's a lot of water runoff that comes here, and so we have like a muddy trench. This is a whole situation that I've been trying to rectify for a year now. So anyway, this soon will have to be unstacked. When it rained heavily the other day, we had to come out and move some rocks, and anyway, it's a project. I'll make videos of that as we get into it. This extended portion of the flower bed is fairly new. This flower bed initially wasn't here, and then I just made this section, and then I added this section, and now I've rounded the corner over here. So all of this is fairly new and just has a few bulbs and a few baby perennials that are coming back for the first time. Back here we have a whole lot of foxglove. Last year was the first year I've ever grown foxglove, and it is magnificent. I cannot wait to show you guys this. These two clumps of allium, there's a sweet old lady that lived up the street and she passed away, and they gave me some of the bulbs from her yard. I would go up there and sit on the porch and talk to her. She had beautiful gardens, and these are from her. I think her name was Miss Emma. This is a peony that I've had now for, this will be the 4th summer, and it has never bloomed for me. It should be yellow and the throat is red, and I can't wait to see it, but so far nothing. They don't like to be disturbed, so I'm hoping that now that it's been settled in for a couple of years, it will actually bloom. If you're wondering why I have terracotta pots sort of in through the landscape here and there, these are lilac bushes that Brian bought for me in Mackinac Island, and they normally live on the patio, but I thought they might like some sunshine. Also in Mackinac, the gardens are beautiful, and they oftentimes do put terracotta pots on or near rock walls just as an accent in the garden. So since these came from Mackinac, that's my little nod to Mackinac. And we'll see how they like the sunshine. They might actually want a little bit of shade. I may end up moving them. Here we have a bunch of Sweet William. This is a plant that you have to plant from seed and then just wait and wait and wait, and it doesn't bloom into the next year. Same with the foxglove back there. Growing things like that from seed are so rewarding when you wait and you take care of them and you eventually get to see them bloom. It's so rewarding. There are a lot of chunks of greenery that are dying back. Of course, we've already had hyacinth and daffodils and jonquils and crocus, and all of those from February and March are dying away now. The foliage is ugly, but it was a beautiful plant. And then we have things like this, which is an allium. I've ordered some of the largest alliums that there are, Schubertii and Christophii. One of them is supposed to be 12 to 15 inches across, so I can't wait to see that sucker bloom. And I have sort of plugged them in, just stuck them here and there in the front and the backyard, so they sort of look like something from Willy Wonka. I cannot wait to see them. These tulips are the most sturdy, durable, beautiful things ever, and they actually came from that big giant store with the W that we all love. I am very impressed with the tulips from them. Most of the tulips in my yard are from the W store. They actually come from a small grower in Michigan, and apparently they have really good stock because these seem to come back more clumped up every year, so I'm really happy about that. And if you follow me on social media, you saw my front yard is just loaded and loaded with tulip bulbs, most of them from the Walmart place. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that, I don't think. Here's another lilac bush. This is the 4th year on this little fella. They grow very, very slowly. Brian bought this for me the very first time that he took me to Mackinac Island. We found a cute little shop there, and they had the smallest little rooted cuttings, and it's been living in that pot ever since. And so I don't know how many more years I have to wait until it blooms, but I'm looking forward to that. Here we have Nepeta. We have some tick seed. We have a lavender. There are just things everywhere popping up. Here's another one of those giant allium bulbs. And I have tons and tons and tons of poppy seeds. That's why these little things are here, to keep little Miss Poppy out of my poppies. Here's Brian's lily bed that he's so proud of. And it is quite stunning when they're in bloom. We have trouble keeping squirrels out of it. We use cayenne pepper. Other than building a cage around it, I don't know what else to do. So we are constantly adding bulbs to it because they dig in it all the time. This is going to be pretty to watch develop. This is currently my biggest eyesore in the garden, and it's probably going to stay this way for a while. This house built in 1865. I don't know when this pathway was laid, but it's been here a long time. And this specific size of brick is not easy to match. Every time they tear down an old house around here, Brian and I go down there to see if we can get a brick match, and we can't. But sometimes we do uncover them in the yard, in the neighbor's yard. And so we've found quite a few. We've added them, but I'm almost done. So as soon as I get enough bricks to finish this out, we'll be ripping this out. If you know anything about how to lay a brick pathway on a pretty steep incline, give me your hints and tips and tricks, or share with me a YouTube video, because this is going to be really a pain. But I just don't feel good about, I was going to rip it out and use the stone because we have stone everywhere in the yard, but I don't know. Something tells me this just should be a brick pathway. I'm going to just take the camera video this way so you can kind of tell the layout of this. And then we'll start up the yard. Another unfinished project here. Follow me up my broken brick pathway. Life is like that sometimes, huh? Sometimes the brick pathway is broken. Here is the bird buffet. I feed them everything their little hearts could desire, yet I still see them poking around the grass, just looking for a worm, which reminds me they don't need my help at all. God is taking plenty good care of them without my help. But I love to watch them. Of course, I love the hummingbirds. If you haven't put your feeders out, put your feeders out. Hummingbirds are in town. This is going to be a hydrangea hallway, a hydrangea, I don't know, something. A whole bunch of rescued hydrangeas. So that'll be a project you can follow along with me. If you know anything about hydrangeas, let me know. I have trouble getting them to bloom, so we'll see what I can do. Tiptoe through my garden with me. Let me show you, this is a neat little thing. Do you see how this rock is sunk and that one is not? This one is not. I plant by the signs of the moon. So when the moon is full, that's when I plant my potatoes and my onions and things that grow underground. And when the moon is not full, that's when I plant things that produce above ground. But an old farmer will tell you, don't plant a fence post on a full moon because it will sink. And so to see if that worked, I planted that stone on a full moon, and you can see it sunk significantly. So that does actually work. Here's a big chunk of columbine. It'll be budding up soon to bloom. And I have sowed some more seeds here, so hopefully this will start to thicken up some. I love columbine. Here I have a coreopsis. Truth be told, this came from Kroger because they have a really good plant sale and they look very, very healthy. They also come from a Michigan grower. I feel like plants at Kroger or that Walmart place, sometimes they're really better than the really, really big box stores. You know the ones I'm talking about. But this coreopsis really pairs well with these pansies, which I just planted a few days ago. So my annuals, you know, it's not really been warm enough, long enough for the annuals to really fill in, and I just got them in the ground a few days ago. We've got a lot of greenery that's dying from the daffodils that have already been spent. But we have perennial geranium that will be blooming. That should bloom for me May through September. We have penstemon, beard's tongue. We have foxglove and delphinium. We have more allium. We have upright phlox and coneflower and another lilac bush. And Sweet William. Let me get a picture of this daffodil up close because she's on her last legs. This is a brand new heirloom bulb that I've just recently acquired, and it's the prettiest daffodil. It looks like it would be so dainty, but to touch it, it's very thick and it feels, I don't know, like rubber or plastic or something. It's the coolest little thing. I want to point out, if you see this is a drip line, but last year this was the back of this flower bed, and I decided in the summer a lot of my flowers were getting really big. These two flocks had grown together, so I needed to divide plants and I didn't have anywhere to put them, so I extended the flower bed back, and I have slowly been dividing things and moving them around. This should have been completed in the fall, but as you know, my husband almost died, and so that was a very long process, and nothing got done in the fall. So I'm still just trying to dig out from fall cleanup and spring cleanup